Unboxing this bike lock from Amazon. It's a combination lock with 4 different numbers, and it's by brand Vitsole. Bicycle lock, bicycle chain, lock with numbers at high security, level 5 digits code combination. It's already here. Now, I ordered this because I already have a smaller one. But whenever I go to another city, for example, and still want to use my bike, I do not want to have my normal small bike lock on the bike itself if I have it at the train station, for example, because there is a slight risk of the whole thing getting stolen. So now this is what it looks like. It says Vitsole or Vitsole, and it's fairly heavy. It kind of needs to be because the chain elements need to be so heavy. Now there is not much in there apart from the bike lock itself and an instruction manual. The instruction manual says that you can set a password. So the weight of this entire thing is 620 grams, which is fairly high. So if you have something that is smaller, obviously the weight is also a lot lighter. And for this reason I have the lighter version, because then I can keep it on the bike at all times, which is very convenient, I think. But something like this is something I eventually needed. Now, how long is this is another question, and the answer to this question is 127 centimeters. You can see the stats here if you want to. They are actually, here are the English ones, the other ones were the German ones. So, to initiate the whole process, you need to have 000, and now it says 00001, and then you press apparently go to 0, and then you can open it. So that's the initial combination. Then you can set your combination apparently. So I already now have turned this now, and it seems to not work that well actually. Of course you can put in a little bit of oil. This might increase how well it works. And then the next step would be to turn the knob. So we open this up, and then we can turn this knob, which sets the combination apparently, which I won't do now because then you know my combination, or I might change it again. I don't know if you can change it again, but it would make sense if you could change it multiple times. So we have these 2 triangles here on these sides, and these need to be adjusted. So this is basically the password. The password is always here in between those triangles. And now in the next stage we then bring the knob back in the original position, and that's pretty much it. And then we have set the bike lock. There is not that much else to say about the packaging and also about the instruction manual. It seems to be pretty straightforward. Now, in terms of the bike lock itself, I think it is made of metal. I don't know which exact metal it is. Maybe stainless steel, or maybe it's just steel. Then we have the mechanism itself, which has 5 different digits. The other one I have has only 4, or I think even only 3. Obviously, the more digits you have, the higher the possible number of combinations. You can very easily calculate how much combinations there are by calculating the factorial. So we have this exclamation mark here on my calculator, and then with 3 combinations we just press here and see how many it would be. It would be 6 combinations. That's not entirely true, I think, because the factorial is not the thing we are searching for. What are we searching for then? The factorial, I think, would be if we would deduct 1 digit or 1 number, so basically 3 minus 2 minus 1, and then multiply each other. So what we actually, I think, need to calculate is 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3. In theory, if the numbers only went up to 3, but they don't, they go actually up to 9. So we have 9 multiplied by 9 multiplied by 9, which would be the possible combinations, I think. I did get another thing wrong. We have actually 10 numbers because we also have the 0. So it's not 9 multiplied by 9 multiplied by 9, but 10 with the exponent 3, which is short for multiplied by multiplied by multiplied. with the same number. So with the free combination lock, we get a total of 1,000 combinations. Now, if instead we replace the exponent with 5, and I know it's pretty embarrassing that I didn't know this immediately, it's 100,000 combinations. So the chances are a lot lower that somebody corrects this combination. But actually not that much lower, it's only 100 times lower. We also have 2 of these grips on these sides here. Possible use scenario is often that you have it around your waist somewhat, and of course it needs to be long enough for you to do this. Of course this is not my waist, but rather my shoulder belt, you could call it, and it just fits around. It is a little bit too short for this actually, so you could potentially put it around your neck, which might not be the best look, but it might result in a good result. Of course it now might dangle, and it also might be a little bit weird if you walk around like this. In total, I think it was maybe not the best invention or not the best purchase decision, because I should have figured this out. I could have just bought a lock that would fit around like this, and then I could have carried it around like this. Now I can only carry it on the bike itself or on the backpack. But so I could get basically another version of this, and of the same lock there is also another version that actually sells for a bigger length, which I also just noticed I don't have. So there are 90 centimeters or 120, and I only have the 90 centimeters, which is maybe then not ideal, but the instruction manual apparently only was for the 120 centimeters, therefore I just assumed it was 120. So maybe you would get the 120, but at the same time the security doesn't increase. The only thing that does increase if you have the longer lock is that you are able to mount your bike maybe on something bigger slightly. Now, if you take a lantern post, for example, then you might be more able with 120 centimeters to go around, or a big tree, for example. Take a big tree and this would not be enough probably. The downside of having something that is the same weight proportion, so the same weight per 10 centimeters, let's just say, is obviously that you have also more weight. So if we take 12 and divide it by 9, which would be the proportions between those two, then we have an increase of 25% in weight. And it's not exactly 25%, it's actually 33%. It's 4/3. Now, in my specific use case, I use usually my normal lock I have on a bike, which weighs maybe a few hundred grams, maybe 100 or 200 grams. And so this would be the only something I would take with me when I actually go to a train station and for a day or two leave my bike there and not use one of these rental bikes, which would be another option. But of course it's more convenient to just use the bike you already have at home. So for this purpose I think it works fairly fine, and the few hundred grams it already has. According to the Amazon page now, this has 620 grams. We can also measure it. And now the scale is tiered and it says 625 grams. In total, a fine lock, also without branding. A few of these others had just very big branding. This is just black, and if I maybe oil it up a little bit, it might even work better.